Right now, most students' achievement is reduced to a number, test score or final grade. So we started with a simple question. What if students could show what they can do beyond a single test score or final university degree? What if they had a portfolio that followed them throughout their career and lifelong learning? Students can develop a wide range of skills during their studies: presentations, collaborations, workshops, independent learning. But many of these aren't formally recognized. Badges offer a way to capture and represent these achievements and make learning more visible. This is our grassroots project, Beyond Grades, Digital Badges for 21st Century English Learning. Our goal was to explore whether micro-credentialing, these small steps and badges, could be a meaningful addition to APU's programs. We worked as a small team to explore this idea from multiple angles, looking at platforms, designing example badges, and gathering feedback. Our grassroots project was undertaken by the following group. Our team members were Lucas Pinulet and Matt Saunders. We had lecturer Sayaka Saito and professors Lindsay Mack and Stephen Pattison, along with academic office staff Heather Bird and Hironobu Maehara. Our main purpose was exploring micro-credentialing, these open badges. Grades don't always reflect progress, especially smaller achievements along the way. Students don't always recognize their progress, and the effort is invisible really outside of the university. So without those clear milestones, motivation can fade. Badges offer a way to recognize progress more continuously. What are badges? When we think of traditional CVs, they're kind of static. It tells you what someone has done, but not always how. Badges, on the other hand, are more dynamic. They can include evidence of learning and specific skills. So instead of just listing achievements, students can actually demonstrate them. Open badges are digital credentials, but importantly, they're more than just images. They include embedded data, who issued the badge, what were the criteria, and sometimes evidence of the work. They're also portable. That is to say, students can share them on LinkedIn or other portfolio platforms and social media. Our original plan was to use a platform like Credly to issue real digital badges. We also wanted to research these different platforms. We aimed to design badges and then pilot them with students and gather feedback on their effectiveness. The first step was investigating digital badge platforms. So, there are several kinds of digital platforms available. Some, like Credly, are very polished and widely recognized, but they can be expensive and require continual contracts. Others are more flexible or lower cost, but they may be less well known or harder to manage. There's always a balance between the cost, the usability, and the credibility. This is something to consider as we move forward with digital badges. Although we couldn't complete a full pilot, we were able to design a range of sample badges. This helped us to visualize how badging could work in the APU context. So what would they actually look like? These are examples based on real student activities, especially within the SALC. The idea was to start with things we already track, rather than creating new systems from scratch. Micro-credentials could cover a number of things, including formal completion of particular courses, or it could be a set of various steps that they achieved along the way and reached the final goal. You can create learning pathways. For example, if they had a badge A, and the badge B. Once they reach both of those, they end up with badge C, which became the expert badge. Moreover, each badge can include criteria and evidence, so it's not just symbolic, it actually communicates what the student has achieved. Additionally, employers could filter for skills and search for potential employees using the tags that are associated with the badges so that students can reach a wider audience thanks to achieving certain badges along the way. We also explored this topic at the JALT National Conference, Japanese Association of Language Teaching, and spoke with vendors and other educators. There was interest, but not widespread implementation. This seems to be an emerging area rather than an established practice. We were able to talk to several vendors and learn more, but when we talked to other institutions, many of them had no idea about these portfolios or digital badges or micro-credentialing. Along the way, Lucas discovered that a SALC at Otemon Gakuen University were giving badges, but they were produced in-house and shared via email, as opposed to, for example, an official open badge platform. So while the interest is there, formal adoption, official systems and platforms don't seem to be used widespread yet. We then gathered student feedback. I showed a possible badge to an elective class. It was a media elective. The students looked at the badges and thought about what it would be like to be issued a badge like this for their work in the elective class. The student response was very positive. In this group of 21 students, 90% plus of the students were highly interested in receiving digital badges. 86% said that they would use badges for employers or portfolios. And about 90% felt badges could actually increase their motivation. When they were asked to comment on the idea of digital badges, they said, for example, badges would help me show employers what we actually did at university. They make our achievements more visible. It's easier to explain my skills with something visual. It would motivate me because I can see my progress. I would put this on LinkedIn. APU should encourage this movement. We learned a lot throughout this project. We found that institutional awareness of badging is still developing, and that implementation requires coordination across departments. Finally, that probably starting small is likely the most realistic approach. As for the short term, we need to try some small-scale official pilots that use actual badging platforms. We also need to continue collecting the voices of our students and strongly factor in their feedback into micro-credentialing decisions and systems at APU. Tied to that, we need to work with the university at large to help explore and plan out APU's badging framework. In the longer term, we must support this movement to have more skill-based recognition mechanisms available. And our final thoughts. Digital badges offer a flexible and innovative way to recognize student learning, but successful implementation requires careful design, institutional support, and gradual experimentation. I think our students said it best when they said, badges are a really cool way to visualize your progress and achievements in a long process such as studying in university. I think future employers would love to see this. And, simply said, I like knowing that my effort matters. And ultimately, through this project, learning about the various badge platforms, our travel to JALT National and talking to other institutions and vendors, and learning to prep the actual badges themselves. We believe Ritsumeikan and APU are in a very unique, great position to become a front-runner and leader of micro-credentialing at the university level in Japan. And looking back at our very first question when talking about our students, it's clear the answer is to replace what if they had to we must provide. Thank you very much. This has been a 2025 grassroots project to reach out to our team members. Please contact via Matt Saunders. Thank you for your time and attention today.